Hello everyone, I'm introducing my axolotl here. His name is Toothless, and he is my beloved axolotl. But as much as I love him, I want to talk about some serious ownership truths just to help guide anyone who's considering getting an axolotl as a pet to understand the realities of what they're going to deal with as an axolotl owner. And the main things to consider are their needs for care and understanding that they're probably more needy than a lot of people realize, especially when they're younger. When you have a young axolotl, they need feedings every day, if not more frequently, depending on their size. And as they get older to about the 7-inch mark in length, it's possible to go back down to feeding them once a day, every other day. And when they get to be over a year old, or about a year old, like just once a day, every 3 days, so that comes out to about 2 or 3 times a week. And again, that varies axolotl to axolotl too, depending on how fast they grow, the nutrition needs. I know with my guy, I was able to cut back on feedings a little earlier just because he was gaining a lot of weight, like when I had to take him to the vet once for a small fungal infection. The vet was trying to be kind. He said that he was very well fed and kind of just gave that wink, wink, nudge, nudge that perhaps he's a little too chunky. So we were able to cut back on his feedings a little bit. And that's something very important to consider, especially if you like to go on vacations or be away on weekends and they need all of that care. You need to figure out something to help them be able to get that nutrition when they need it and be willing to, take care of it in a way that's healthy for them. And the other issue is the water quality. That's so huge. I didn't really own fish or have much experience with aquatic animals before I got Toothless. I'd had a betta fish previously, and yeah, definitely not in the same league as an axolotl as far as needs. Again, they're very sensitive to water parameters and conditions, so they have to have pretty special attention to the water to make sure it's exactly right in their parameters. And they're more sensitive to chemicals, so if you're trying to treat things in the tank with chemicals, you have to make sure it's something that's axolotl safe, otherwise it can kill them. And you really want to have your water at home tested if you're planning to use home water. Otherwise, you need to buy water from a safe source to use. And definitely invest in conditioners just to make sure that, again, nothing that's in there is going to hurt your new best friend. And that's a lot to manage. You also need to learn how to do the chemical testing to, there he is showing off. He's like, I can has worm, please. Do a little dance. Please worm me. Anyway, yeah, they need that constant monitoring of the water conditions, and that takes time. And especially in their case, they go to the bathroom a lot. You can see he's rather large. Toothless is currently just over 9 inches long. It's about adult size. It's probably longer than that now. It's been a while since I measured him. And they go to the bathroom quite a bit. They eat more, they go to the bathroom more. And that's especially true in the juveniles. They're going to be going to the bathroom a lot because the more food they eat, the more they got to go. And that's going to mess up your water quality in a hurry. So the recommendation is to go in at least once a day, if not twice, especially when they're younger, with a turkey baster or a syringe, and go get after all that waste. I personally prefer using a gravel vacuum. That way I can just easily get rid of it, know that it's gone, and then just top off the water quality as needed. And that works better for me, and it kind of counts as a small water change. So I do that, and then on the weekends I do a much bigger 6 or so gallon water change, probably closer to 7 gallon water change. In this 20 gallon tank, it's probably a gallon or 2 short, something like 18 gallons in there. And that seems to help it stay balanced exactly where it needs to be. But that's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of commitment, to get it in a system that works. And a lot of people don't realize just how tough that is. My husband used to have horses when he was younger, and he thinks it's just drawing on the ladder below owning a horse as far as the attention to detail that it requires. So that's something to really think about. I would not recommend an axolotl for a young child or really anyone who's not able to stay on top of those responsibilities and do it well. I know some people look at amphibians as throwaway pets, but that's a really sad perspective to have. And axolotls aren't really what I would consider cheap either, and with all of the investments you have to make into owning a tank, it doesn't make sense. And it's just cruel to look at them as throwaway and like I can just let the water quality go, to heck in a handbasket and live with that. So, especially since you can see the misery on them if they start to get sick, as I've seen in pet stores and stuff. It's not pleasant. And when he got his fungal infection, that was heartbreaking for me. So, as far as how they get fungal infections, again, stress from things in their tank that shouldn't be there or aren't conducive to their lifestyle. They shouldn't have tons of light. I do have an LED light strip in my tank. It's typically only on for a few hours a day, and the rest of the time he's in just the ambient light of the room. And he has places to hide, like under his Millennium Falcon, they get pretty dark, or behind his filter and that Mayan sculpture there that he can hide in, and it gets pretty dark. It just looks brighter now because, again, the lights are on so you can see a little bit better. He doesn't seem particularly bothered by light compared to some axolotls, because he'll walk right up to that light strip and put his chin on the lights sometimes, and just there are the bubbles blowing up on him. It's cute. I need to get a picture. It tends to get overexposed with the crazy way the lighting is in that corner, but yeah, he's not bothered by light as much. You want to have hiding places, as I said. He loves to go on top of his Millennium Falcon or under it. He goes behind the filter and the Mayan there thing to get away from people too, and he's very content. You want to make sure there's not current in there either, so don't get a reef blower. With my different sponge filters in there, they're at opposite ends, so they neutralize each other's current pull. And he also likes to hide under them. He does wedge his head under them from time to time because he thinks he's small. And it all works very well for him. But that's come with a lot of trial and error. It's been hard. There's been tears getting used to having an axolotl. It's a lot to get used to and take in, and again, that's something to think about. Do you really have the time commitment to own an axolotl, and are you willing to touch their yucky food? I say yucky because some people are bothered by things like earthworms, bloodworms, blackworms, that sort of thing. Are you willing to cut up worms if need be, if your axolotl is still not quite big enough to eat a whole worm, And what are you going to do, again, if you go somewhere on vacation? Or just want to go away for a weekend? Are you going to have a friend come over and check on them? Are you going to try to board them at a pet store? Because that is possible, but it's very expensive. I know my local pet store has offered to do it for about $100 for a week, and that was just an estimate. Could be more than that potentially. And put them through the stress of moving them to the pet store. Those are things to seriously think about. And then also understanding this is an animal that's a pet that you just look at. This isn't a cuddly, squishy pet. I've, to my horror, heard some people in pet stores talk about like thinking they're the same thing as a mud puppy, and that they can let them crawl all over their like tile or laminate floor for a while. No, they have to stay in the water. The rudimentary lungs are just that. They're rudimentary, and it will freak them out the second they're out of the water, because that little itty bitty lung of theirs is not meant for long-term outside of water use, and that's extremely stressful, if not fatal. And while I did see a YouTuber that was blessed with an axolotl that likes belly rubs, that is not what you should go in the expectation of. Toothless has gotten very accustomed to my hands, and I think he knows my scent, so he's okay around my hands, and he'll let me like gently push him out of the way when I need to clean something, or to get him out of the way of something if I need to move something in this tank without putting up a fight or getting freaked out. And he will occasionally let me give him nose rubs, but that's about it. And he is a classroom pet, so in case you're wondering if the kids ever want to touch him, what do? I typically don't allow them to touch him, but satisfy the curiosity for his safety. That way students aren't thinking they can just reach in and touch them all the time when they want. I'll usually sanction a day where I go with the kids to a sink and I supervise them washing and drying their hands very, very thoroughly, being careful to rinse off any traces of soap, and being very careful to dry their hands so thoroughly there's not going to be like residual potential water chemicals to deal with. And then I will very carefully corral Toothless with my hands to just a corner of his tank, and I'll let them reach in and just very, very gently touch the very, very top apex of his back with one finger. Not rubbing, just a quick, gentle touch. And usually that does it. And the kids would tell you that he feels like wet jello. That is their assessment, not mine. But I think it's accurate. So if you really want to know what an axolotl feels like, go get some jello, make it, then put water on it, and feel that, and rub your hands all over it, and that's what an axolotl feels like. So that should satisfy your curiosity, in case you're wondering. But again, I do stress to the students to respect him and the dangers of, overhandling, and they respect that very much. They don't want to see anything bad happen to him. And he's been a wonderful animal ambassador for endangered species, since axolotls are endangered in the wild and expected to go to extinct in the very near future. And they're really only their hope for survival is in the pet trade and in laboratories. And at this point, just given the severity of the pollution and the dangers from humans as well as invasive species that have been put in their home lake. Oh, that was cute. He yawned. I don't know if you saw that. That was adorable. I wish I got it from the front view. But those are things to seriously think about. Again, don't be buying these like those people are at the pet store that are like, oh yeah, these are native to Michigan, they're a mud puppy and you can just throw them out on the floor and let them run around. No, they can't do that. And that's also disgusting. You don't want all that slime on your floor. And just thinking of them as a very, very fancy fish that you're taking care of, even though it's an amphibian. And those are some serious things to think about. I know that they're very cute. I enjoy them very much. Some people are freaked out by them, but again, he's been a wonderful pet for me. I just wish people knew what kind of work they entail before they get them, and know that, necessity of what they're doing, to appreciate just how much they're going to have to do and commit to for the lifetime of their pet, and that they would understand the commitment and enjoy it. Because if you know what you're getting into, then you're going to feel better about it and more prepared. So that's my little talk on axolotl ownership. I hope it was helpful. Thanks, and I hope you have a wonderful day.